So far we have learned about the exergy, what exergy is all about. We are going to talk about irreversibility and second law of efficiency, and also exergy change in a system today if time permits. This we have already seen. So this, if you substitute this and th over here, so the net amount of exergy, so exergy of any that it contains is 1 minus TL by TH times Q supplied.
I'm not able to see your.
What? Tell me.
Your PPT.
Yes, this is nothing but your exergy, right?
I can see your screen, sir.
Oh, you cannot see.
Sir, you are not sharing the screen.
Oh, acha, acha. Oh, right. I didn't share that. Now it's visible, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this expression we have come across. So today we are going to learn some the keyword that is irreversibility. So irreversibility is defined as the difference between the reversible work that you are getting when your device is working under reversible conditions and the useful work, actual work is what you get is due to the irreversibility present during the process, and the difference is called irreversibility, which is defined by this particular expression, work out with which of the device through reversible process and the actual work out, useful work you are getting out. Similarly, this is valid for the work producing devices. And this is valid for your work consuming devices. Irreversibility is also sometimes called as the exergy destroyed. So what does it mean? Exergy destroyed means the usefulness or the availability of the energy being destroyed because of the irreversibilities present in the process. You can always think exergy as a opposite of entropy. Okay. You can take up this quick question. A heat engine receives heat from source at 1200 Kelvin at a rate of 50 kilojoules per second. Remember, these are all again also valid. If you are asked about irreversibility rates dotted, then we can always write W dot reversible out minus W dot useful work that is coming out of the device in rate form. This is also valid. Here also W dot max can also be written as W max is equal to W reversible is equal to N reversible times Q in dot expressions. This is also again valid, and this you can put over here, and then you can get the similar expression, except the fact that you are not considering the rates over here. Okay, this is equally valid. So in this question, it is the rates are given. So this is rate. The Q dot is actually in to the heat engine. It is given from this particular source at this temperature, rejects the waste heat to the medium at 300 Kelvin, shown over here. The power output of the heat engine is this much. So this is what? This is your actual power output. Now it is asked that determine the irreversible power. What is the reversible power that you can get out of this heat engine if it would have worked in reversible manner? Then what is my W reversible? And the second part. Urvish, okay. And the second thing we need to deduce is the irreversibility rate for this process. So how much exergy is being destroyed, exergy rate that is being destroyed. You cannot do anything about that. Okay. Can somebody tell me how to calculate W dot reversible in this particular example? So yes, we have already deduced this formula. Yes, this is your formula. Yes, this one. W dot reversible, and this is dot over here. So this is your formula. And where do we get that? From our previous. I've already deduced this in our previous lectures, right? So maximum work is eta reversible times Q in, and eta reversible is nothing but this expression Carnot. Yes, somebody tell me. You guys take pen and paper. You can also try that with me. So yes, we have W reversible. We can actually deduce in this manner: 1 minus T lower minus T higher absolute temperatures times Q dot in to the installed heat engine. This I can write 1 minus T lower is 300 divided by T higher is 1200 times Q is 500 kilojoules per second. So this is 900 by 1200 times 500. What else? 250, 125. So 375 watts, right? So this much power you are actually getting out, or this much kilo. So this is kilo here, so kilowatts will be here. Okay, 375 kilowatts of power you are actually will be getting out of this heat engine if it would have been run in reversible manner. Right. So this is the reversible power. This is your answer. And the second thing is irreversibility rate. So B is irreversibility rate. I dot is nothing but W dot reversible minus W dot actual or useful. Actually you are, so actual you are getting how much? Actual output is 180. So this is 375 minus 180. So this is how much? 5 9 195, right? Kilowatts. So this much of energy rate, this much of power being destroyed. This is the power you will not actually losing actually. So this is the exergy destroyed. Okay, so essentially this chapter tells me a notion that how much close we can actually achieve if you would have run things in a reversible manner. Okay, and based on that you can actually put something in your mind while designing your devices and make devices. Next, one more good question I want to take up, or should I start with? Okay, I'll come to this question once again.
Excuse me, sir.
Huh.
Sir,
Tell
what are the reasons? Sir, what are the reasons for exergy destruction when we apart?
So what is the reason that this much power?
The exergy destruction is there apart from friction. Like what are the other reasons we are not able to?
Okay, apart from frictions.
Yes.
So yes, I told you even you are, if you are going from higher temperature to lower temperature, you are losing some heat. Let's suppose T1 and T2. Then also you are actually in some sense generating your entropy, right? So irreversibility is also here. Remember, there is irreversibility, that is Q by T. This is being generated. Remember, or if at all, if it is generated over it I mean one side it could be lesser, I mean it would be negative, this would be positive, but overall you are actually, if you are summing things up, your overall entropy was increasing some positive quantity. You remember? So even if you are doing any sort of process, you will actually increase your entropy, and increasing entropy means destroying your available energy in some sense. So it's there, you cannot you can't help. So every process, either you are heating, you are cooling, you are doing some frictional work, not doing something, I mean everything, I mean even time passes, even time passing also leads to entropy changes. Okay, it has to have to happen. So not only frictions there, even if you are losing some heat or you are gaining some heat, you are some in some action towards increasing entropy, and in turn it is energy exergy is being destroyed, the available energy is being destroyed, and it's happening with all over the universe. It's happening. Have I answered your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So again, we told that we should have a notion towards building a device that would work efficiently. So the first law of efficiency is what we learned before. Those efficiencies, she's told the first efficiencies were told that the work out that I'm getting divided by Q in. But this is not a good measure, because this doesn't give me a benchmark that if this device would have worked in a reversible manner, then how much efficiency I could get. Okay, so that is why it makes no reference to the best possible performance that uh, a device can do or a candidate can score in exam. Okay, we don't know. So that is why in order to judge that, we are going to introduce a second law efficiency in this manner, which is nothing but the thermal efficiency, the usual thermal efficiency divided by the thermal efficiency when the things are in reversible, working in reversible manner. The processes are happening in reversible manner, and this ratio is called the second law efficiency. Okay, let's suppose here I have a source at 600K and sink at 300K, and my device A has thermal efficiency at 30%, and device B is also working at 30%. Okay, so we can tell that, okay, wow, these two devices are working great and working both equally great, right? But it's not. It doesn't happen that way, because when we talk about, unless we talk about the reversible or the second this reversible efficiencies that would work at Carnot process. Okay, this is your usual, this efficiency you would find with usual this thing, work by in, Q in, right? How much work I'm getting out and how much Q in it's going inside this heat engine. Okay, and this we would get this particular and max. So our N thermal max would be nothing but the reversible thing, and we will get this thing from this expression 1 minus T lower. And when we divide these two, this and this, when we divide that, we will actually get eta 2, which is written over here. And let's suppose this device B, the Carnot, when it undergoes Carnot's processes, then we get this maximum efficiency would be 70%. Now if we talk about the second efficiencies here, for let's suppose for A, so this is my 30 or 0.3 divided by 0.5, and eta 2B is equal to 0.3 divided by 7. Tell me how much. So 5 by 3 is something. Somebody quickly tell me if you have calculators. So this is 0.6, and this comes out to be 0.43. So it happens that device B, second law efficiency of device B is poor as compared to first law, I mean device A. So essentially B is performing poor because it could do better, right? It could do better because we know that it could go up till 0.7, 70% efficiency. And I know that this would not go beyond 0.5 because it works that way, because your sink and source are in that manner, or your device is such that. Okay, so this is a better way to benchmark your devices, or you can push your device in order to, if you want to change, do some design changes and you want to achieve more work output, then you can actually go with this device B, right? So yes, so eta 2 can also be written in terms of how. So eta 2, we have written that eta thermal by eta reversible. So what is thermal is work, whatever actually you are getting divided by this is your work reversibly you are doing Carnotically, Carnot way, and this is Q in again, and this cancels, and you will get actually the actual or the usual useful whatever work you are getting with reversible work. So this is what it is written over here. For work producing devices, we can also write in this fashion. Anyway, formula doesn't matter as long as you know what's happening. Work consuming devices, it's opposite, reversible by W U2 U. And for refrigerators and heat pumps also we can write the second uh, efficiency, COP, usual or the actual what you are getting divided by the reversible. We will not take up this question right now. We will move into some further topics, and then we will move into the first example what we are left with. Let me finish this first. Now we are going to see the exergy change in any system. Let's suppose we start with a closed system first, and we also talk about open systems as well in subsequent slides. So for closed systems, let us see, let us illustrate, let us imagine that we have a system, we have a gas inside a cylinder piston arrangement at this pressure P and temperature T, where outside pressure was P0, atmospheric pressure. And in order to get the exergy, so first of all, we will not go towards the change. So let's strike this. We just want to find the exergy of closed system of in similar fashion. So first we'll look about the exergy of any closed system. So what is the meaning of exergy of any closed system? Again, exergy is what? The available energy of closed system. Okay, so any closed system. So this is a generic closed system. Generic closed system where some heat is also coming out and some work is also being done. So this is a generic way. Yeah, you can push your piston. Again, this is a closed system. We are not taking mass out of this particular piston cylinder arrangement. We are just taking some amount of heat and some amount of work we are getting out of it. Okay, so there are two things that is happening. This is this work. So basically we are looking for okay, let's we are looking for, let's suppose I am talking in terms of differential works. So this is the total work. What I can write is delta W, and this is my delta W useful, or this is the piston work that is it is doing. So I can write W be useful. The usefulness in terms of it is moving the piston. Okay, plus delta W this much thing. Okay, because how? Because we have already seen that whatever delta Q that is coming out of system or into the system, it is going. So this Q, the amount of exergy from this particular Q can be judged based on installing a imaginary heat engine over here, and then we can seek the whatever the work from heat engine that is coming out of the system. So essentially for closed systems, this exergy is basically the sum of these two works that is happening, right? Delta W heat engine, that we could install hypothetically, and we can look for how much useful work or available work was there in terms of heat, right? We already seen this. So this much and this much is the usual piston work. So the addition of this will give me the whole available work or the available energy that you can get out of this closed system. Based on that, I can actually write this as my exergy. Okay, so let's calculate these two quantities first. So let's first talk about delta W B useful or boundary useful. So which is nothing but, so what is the boundary work that is doing this? Since this pressure is higher and P naught is lesser, let's suppose, then piston is moving. So this gas, particular gas that is kept inside this cylinder piston arrangement is doing against the surrounding, right? Right. So I can actually write this thing. Okay. In addition to this, so I've written slight incorrect statement over here. Slight incorrect. So what is this actually here? This is you can say obviously this is boundary work, but it is some, let's suppose, W dash, and this W dash is nothing but this W. Your piston is moving, so let's suppose WB is happening, plus it is also pushing against this surrounding. So P naught dV that is happening. So this is the total work that this gas is doing onto the surrounding. It is doing piston work, plus it is also pushing some fluid of the surrounding as well, right? So this is the whole expression I can write, and plus now this should be added with the reversible heat engine work, and then we will get the total out of it. Okay, so this will keep in mind. Okay, now let's talk about this W heat engine, delta W heat engine. So how to calculate this particular heat engine work that is coming out of this? So we have already seen this expression. We have written 1 minus T. This is this gas is as temperature T, and it is losing some heat at T naught. T naught is atmospheric. Again, this is atmospheric. This is atmospheric. So this is T naught by T times delta Q. This is the heat that it is liberating into the heat engine, right? This is the usual expression we write. Okay, now we can write dq plus T naught times dq by T. And what is this expression? Am I connected? Oh, shit. So I was, it seems I have lost you guys. So am I audible, or have I lost?
Sir.
Have I lost somewhere?
Audible.
So have I lost somewhere, or was step by step you were listening, or have you guys lost me? Okay, fine.
No, sir. We are listening.
So this reversible heat work can be written dq plus T naught times dq by T. So this dq by T is what is this? ds, entropy, right? So dq plus T naught ds. Also, Okay, now I can write this expression total. So this total I can write delta W total. I can write delta WB plus sorry P naught dV plus dq plus T naught ds. So far, are you guys following me?
Yes, sir.
Also, in closed system, so let's suppose this is my closed system and let's suppose some q interaction is happening, dq, and some dw is happening, and we are looking for the change in energy in the system. Okay, so how did we write that? So E in minus E out, right, is equal to since this is d by d, I mean change in energy of the system, right? So E in is, so in was like q that is coming out of the system, so minus dq, and E out is nothing but dw, that is positive, so minus dw is equal to de is nothing but change in internal energy, right? So we can actually write this dw as or dq. We can write actually dq, or let's suppose this expression only. Okay, so let's club these two things together, and we can write this as minus du, and this is my P naught dV, and this is my plus d delta W total. Yes, now we are coming into the picture. Now we can integrate it from initial to final, and we can actually write work total that is being done by the system is and what is I mean what is the integration actually from state, from where to where you are going. So actually you are going from P to P naught, T to T naught towards the dead state, right? Whatever environment you have, you are going towards that, right? So the usual this thing would be going from let's suppose I mean everything could be going from its own state towards the, so T to T naught it is going. Okay, P to P naught it is going in some sense. So this is going from U to U naught it's going. This is V to V naught it's going, and S to S naught basically if we talk in terms of integrals. So this is nothing but since this is minus sign over here, so this is U minus U naught, right? So I'm going good with this explanation. So this is my V minus V naught. So remember this is specific volume, or the volume, not a specific volume. I'm using capital letters, plus T naught S minus S naught, right? So far any doubt? Or maybe in some proper sign I can actually write in this way, where what the book is following, W total is equal to U minus U naught plus, this is very strong powerful formula I am writing, minus T naught S naught minus, sorry I'm doing some mistake, maybe some minus sign, this is S naught, so final minus initial, sorry, and then my minus sign comes over here, and yes, so this is S minus S naught, so everything is in proper shape. Okay, now let's focus over here. So this is your total work, and this is your called your exergy. Exergy means available energy of any closed system. So whatever the available energies that are there in terms of internal energies, I mean uh, the difference in internal energies of the system towards the system at dead state, the volume of system and difference of volume from the volume toward the dead state, and the entropies, the difference of entropies from system entropy towards the dead state entropy. And that is how your system surrounding coupling is important to find the exergy. Okay. Huh.
Sir, will it not come minus P naught into V minus V naught?
So this is final minus initial.
Yes,
So
and you forgot two lines.
P naught V naught minus V.
P0.
Okay,
And then
okay, okay.
minus sign will come out.
Yes. Yes, it should be. It should be. On surrounding. So I'll look into it because the book follows this only. But maybe what is the catch? We may be not following the proper sign convention of the surrounding works that is happening. So maybe we'll stick to that, and I'll check into that, and I'll come to you back to you guys. But for till now, we can be. I mean, this is very handy of writing the exergy terms over in this manner. Okay, I will look into it this particular time. So next thing is, yeah. So this is the work actually. It's there close work, but in addition here we didn't consider the kinetic energies that it may contain, the inside gas plus the potential energy. Okay, so we were deriving the equation for stationary systems so far. Okay, if we generalize our expression, we should also add up these two particular things, and now we can actually write in terms of mass basis exergy of closed generic, not stationary, generic closed system is written in terms of a new subscript called phi. Okay, so phi is nothing but your capital X divided by m. Okay, so this divided by m, everything divided by m, we call this thing as the exergy of the closed system in mass basis, and which can be written as small u minus small u naught plus p, this is capital, this is small specific volume v minus v naught minus t naught small s minus small s naught plus v square by 2 plus gz. So this is the right, this is the expression we get, and this is what I have written over here. Okay, now so far we have derived the exergy of any closed system. We have not talked about the change of exergy of the system. Now we can move ahead one step more, and we can write one more expression as, yes, my phi is, again I can write again, u minus u naught plus p naught v minus v naught minus t naught s small s minus s naught plus v square by 2. This is velocity and this is volume. Okay, so whenever I write volume, I use this cut sign here, plus zz. So this is non-flow exergy of closed system. So non-flow why there is nothing coming out of the system. So for open mass or open systems, we will talk about later. It would be written in terms of flow energy of open systems, and that is indicated by psi probably. Okay, we'll talk about later, but let's finish this. So the change in entropy of the system can be written in terms of phi2 minus phi1, and then, and what is my phi2? A dead state. Okay, so phi2 at dead state. What can I write? So I can write, so phi1 means one subscript will come here, right? S1, V1, G1, and phi2 means everything U2 minus U0 plus P0, V2 minus V0 minus T0, S2 minus S0 plus V2 square by 2 plus GZ2. Now phi2 minus phi1 I can write straight away, right, in terms of U2 minus U1 plus P0 V2 minus V1. So dead state specific volumes are cancelled, minus T0 S2 minus S1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 or single 2, let's suppose, plus G Z2 minus Z1. So this is the change in whatever the change that may occur in a system. So this is the change in exergy during the process. Okay, so this is my initial state, state 1. This is a state 2, and what is the change that you can actually follow this particular example. You can also club these two things, U plus PV. Oh, sorry, no, we cannot right now club here. This U and these kinetic energy and potential, and this is again in books. It's an E2 V2 minus V1 minus T0 S2 minus S1. Yes, so this is your phi2 minus phi1. So this is, in some textbooks this follows this expressions as well. So since we don't have much time, we'll stop here and we'll take up the leftover example, but because this is important, this I want to derive. And yes, for open systems we can similarly derive the open system things. The only thing in open systems we incorporate is something called flow energy, flow exergy, that it is the additional term that is will be added in this particular expression. Sorry. And then we are left with the energy exergy transferred by heat, work and mass, and lastly the exergy balance like entropy and energy balances. So these few topics we are left behind. And yes, I want to stop the lecture today. And any questions so far? Let me take the attendance. So if there are no further questions, we may leave now.